Hey guys, how is it going? My goodness. You are tuning into the Deepeners podcast. My name is Carol Olker, and I am a health and life coach, more specifically, a personal power coach. I help you deepen your personal power by uprooting the inherited mindsets designed to keep you hidden. In my practice, we focus on inherited language around thoughts, internal shame around feelings, and external shame around actions that perpetuate the cycle around thoughts and feelings, which is the result of personal relationships, society, and patriarchy. Deepened Roots podcast has been created to give listeners an opportunity to connect how our inherited mindsets can lift up or mess up our personal power. Feel your feelings, deal with your feelings, heal in your feelings, trusting your gut while you pull away from the noise and get grounded in yourself. Now that is the beginning of taking control of your personal power however you need to in a way that serves you. Now let's get started. Welcome to 51, episode 51. And today, I have an amazing guest. He is an award-winning live stream producer, excellent writer, and, maybe a little biased, but only because he is awesome, and he is my bestie. His name is Sohn, and he's going to be my guest today. We're going to be talking about growing pains. Which he's really excited about. Maybe not. Hey, Tam, how are you?
Hey, Bestie, I'm great. I can't wait to talk about growing pains. I mean, let's get as positive as we can be. Let's dive right into growing pains. I mean, why not?
Well, first things first.
Right.
It's still Black History Month, guys. And
Yes.
The reason why we talk about it is because, again, it's just bringing things up to the forefront. We're all in this world together, and I am constantly reshaping and reevaluating and growing into, personally, how it can be a better ally for anyone who is not, who walks a different life path, who is just a different human being. How can I support people? How do I want to be supported? It's all just kind of thinking about just being together and recognizing the fact that there's so many contributions to especially Black health and wellness. That is a huge thing, and something to always think about and realize that it is something to be respected separately, and recognize that we all benefit from contributions to health and wellness by some amazing people and the Black community who are in the medical community as well. And so with that said, though, Tam, I dug up I dug up 7 people who made some amazing contributions to the medical community in general.
Awesome.
Yes. And so the first one, his name is James Mccune Smith. And he actually was born into slavery in New York City in 1813. And he wanted to be a doctor. Of course, he was denied admission to American colleges because he was Black. But he was able to attend the University of Glasgow in Scotland.
Oh, wow.
Where he earned his bachelor's, master's, and medical degrees by the age of 24. So when he came back to New York City, he established his own medical office, and which made him the first African American doctor with his own practice in the U.S. So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Yes.
What year was this?
Huh?
What year was this?
1837.
Wow.
This was before the Civil War, right?
See, I'm learning. Are you guys learning from my bestie over here? This is amazing information.
Well, it's a lot to keep in perspective, right? You and I talk about
is.
perspectives all the time.
All the time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so he also spent a lot of time with his life working with abolitionists to end slavery. And what's unfortunate is that he died 3 weeks before the passage of the 13th Amendment to the Constitution, which abolished slavery.
Oh.
So
wow.
he wasn't quite able to see that amendment. And, I kind of went right in there, like, bam. And because I was all excited about Mr. Tam being on my show, and then let's talk about things. Then we have a lot of people in the comments. So I want to talk about comments and then get right back to stuff. So,
yes.
Senor Payasada, you are right on time. And Usama? Where's Usama? I don't see Usama, but I want to see you, Usama.
No, and there's some other people that are in the comments on LinkedIn. Ligia is on LinkedIn. She said, ready for this phenomenal show. Elizabeth Ferrero says, hi, Kara and Tim. Greetings from South America as usual. Chile. Yeah.
Are you? So you're seeing this on LinkedIn?
On LinkedIn, yeah. I'm cheating.
Oh, so we're having another moment.
We are having a moment, yes.
So do you want to go ahead and just kind of be my producer via LinkedIn comments?
Sure. I'd be
okay.
I'll guest and producer.
Venmo you copy money.
That's okay. It's all good. Oh, wait, Lagia's came in.
Oh, good. Greetings to all you amazing people here. Love for you.
Maybe it's running on Costa Rica time restream.
I'm all for it.
Maybe from Costa Rica to Cincinnati, maybe there's a little delay.
Keep those amazing vibes coming, Ligia.
Yeah.
Just all those vibes. However, whatever time zone it comes in. Thank you, Ligia.
We love all the time zones, right? All the time zones. We love all the people.
We do.
Yes.
And I also want to talk about Rebecca Lee Crumpler. Rebecca Lee Crumpler. I know. I love it. I'm all into information. So if you guys are taking a nap, that's all on you. But she graduated from the New England Female Medical College in 1864. So Civil War. She became the first Black female physician in the United States, which is pretty amazing.
Go her.
That same year, she opened a medical practice in Boston. And before she attended college, Dr. Crumpler had worked as a nurse. She also wrote in her book of medical discourses. She published that in 1883. And it was one of the first publications about medicine written by an African American. So it's pretty amazing. And keeping that in perspective, especially in the 1800s and during the whole time of slavery. And again, this is why we talk about things. Unfortunately, if you were not a white person, Caucasian person, you were discouraged, and sometimes it was punishable by death for learning how to read and write. So the fact that in 1881 she published a publication is pretty amazing. So that's why we talk about these things. That's why we talk about the hard stuff.
It's important.
Yes. And Daniel Hale Williams, he like cutting this really short, but let's see. He, in 1893, he performed open heart surgery, the first open heart surgery ever, and successful
Wow.
too. He successfully repaired the pericardium, which is the sac surrounding the heart of a man who'd been stabbed in a knife fight.
Wow.
It was considered the first documented successful open heart surgery on a human.
That's amazing.
And he
All these
was the first,
amazing people.
yeah, he was the first Black cardiologist too.
Super cool. Speaking of
Yes.
super cool people, Gabe Leal just showed up. Hi, Gabe
What,
Leal.
Gabe? Hey, you. Gabe is busy being sick and busy being busy. And the fact
Both.
that you showed up, Gabe, look at you. He says, look at these two amazing people. I say, look at you. Thank you. We see you too.
Yes. Thank you for showing up, Gabe Leal.
Yes. By the way, speaking of showing up, we had this little show called Showing Up, Perspectives on Cancer, tonight at 8.
Yes.
Yes.
And we have an amazing guest. Too.
Yes, we do. More on that later.
Stay tuned.
So, yes. Otis Boykin, he is best known as improving the pacemaker. He patented 28 electronic devices during his career. And so he really contributed to the forward movement of the pacemaker.
Very cool.
Yes. Patricia Bath. She was the first African American to complete the ophthalmology residency with New York University School of Medicine in 1973. When she patented this invention called the laser phaco probe, which is a device and method for cataract treatments. So when she patented the instrument in 1988, she became the first African-American female doctor to receive a patent for a medical invention.
Very cool.
And one more.
I'm in suspense. Should we do like a drum roll?
Mae Jameson. Have you heard of Mae Jameson?
I haven't. Have you?
Well, yes, and that's a shame because that you don't. But that's okay that you don't, because not everyone's into astronauts, but I am.
Ooh.
And she is most famous for becoming the first Black woman astronaut to go into space in 1992.
Ooh. Very cool.
Super cool. Women in space, people in space.
Yes.
But not only is she an astronaut, she's also a trained physician. And she's still alive, doing her thing. She's dedicated her life to improving global health, which is pretty amazing. She joined the Peace Corps in 1983 and worked as a medical officer for 2 years in Africa. And
super cool.
Yeah, and then later as an astronaut, she learned about satellite communications, and she combined those two skill sets from the Peace Corps and her being a physician and then being an astronaut. She combined those two skill sets to form the Jameson Group, which develops telecommunication systems to improve healthcare delivery in developing countries. Isn't that awesome?
That lady is really impressive. I mean, how can you top that? I mean,
astronauts.
I mean, astronaut and physician. So, like, she can make people better while she is floating around space.
I can't with you. No, but if you want to learn more about Black history, because it's history in general, and sometimes, unfortunately, in history, it's kind of erased or not talked about as much. And so if you want to learn more about history, I do suggest going to 28daysofblackhistory.com and signing up for their newsletter, honestly. And they'll send you emails the rest of this month too. And just tidbits of things. I mean, I learned about the first documented high five. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. 1977, Dusty Baker, former Reds general manager. Yeah. And I don't know. So all sorts of things we can always learn and grow into.
Grow into. Look at that transition.
You know, and speaking of growth and growing into, you know, I approached Tom with this topic just out of the blue, of course, because it's always random with me. And I just, again, want to say thank you for feeling safe enough to say, you know what, I support you and wanting to talk about growing pains, because Tam is a recovering deflector, and that's his natural habitat. But I have seen throughout the several months of having the honor of being his bestie, I've seen him grow into, like, okay, I love deflecting, but sometimes I have to do hard things. So,
True.
I mean, what do you, like, you want to share more about that? Like, what has your, like, was that something that you sought out to do, or is it just something that just kind of transformed and then you're like, fuck, this is what I do now?
I mean, first of all, thanks for suggesting the topic of growing pains, because it's not something that I've really talked about a lot on live stream shows before. And it is something that I've been going through a lot, that we've both been going through a lot over the last several months, big time. And, you know, so many things have happened since, you know, we've bumped into each other. You know, the Radiating Real movement, me sharing my cancer story, sharing it a bunch of times over a bunch of places. I starting the Showing Up Perspectives on Cancer show. And before, my default reaction to everything was to deflect, to go to the forest, to run away, to do something else, to busy my mind and not deal with my feelings, really. You know, just go do something else. Go, you know, go to the forest, literally, or go to take a walk by the Delaware River, or go to the waterfall, which I still love to do. It's so beautiful there and it's so peaceful there. But my bestie over here, wait, this way, that way. It's different. It's different in Restream. Yeah, it's actually the right way in Restream that you point. See, I'm deflecting. There's an example.
No, you're distracted. You're like, damn, look at this.
Yeah. So, but I've learned some things over time also, specifically from my bestie over here, things like journaling and it's kind of like reflecting more and becoming more aware about my feelings and things like that, which before I really wasn't. You know, I would just naturally deflect and I was fine with that. So that's kind of a starting point.
Yeah, you know, and for you, like, it's one of those things where growing and becoming more aware of yourself and deepening your personal power is that it's never a perfect path. It's never glamorous. A lot of times it's not glamorous. It is running away into the woods because you're terrified. but then also knowing that once you're in the woods, you can sit and reflect or lean against a tree and reflect. And I just want to say that we have Elizabeth Nzangu with us. Hi. I'm honored that you're able to see us because in real time, because this lady's so busy with everything, being a kindness incorporator and badass, and so many other things, school, internships. Oh my gosh. So we're so happy to see you also.
Love.
Yeah, definitely. But no, I thank you so much for sharing that, Tom, because like really, I love the fact that one day you told me, you said, I went into the woods today and I forgot my phone, or I didn't take my phone with me. And it's not that every time I go into the woods, I just won't take my phone, but I appreciate those times that, hey, I just didn't take my phone today, and it was a beautiful experience. And you were able to put yourself in the present tense, which is what it's all about. Like the more you ground yourself and you're able to just live in the moment and feel your feelings, or feel just this sense of beauty around, look at the woods, look at the waterfall, like for you to do that and be able to do that is such a beautiful thing, for sure.
Thanks. And like another example would be on Christmas morning, I usually have my phone out and I'm taking lots of photos and videos of our kiddos, because I want to have those memories. But this year I was like, I'm not even bringing the phone in the room. I just want to be there in the moment without a phone in front of my face. Like I just want to see their smiles and just be there and interact with them.
Yeah.
And that was beautiful. And I'm fine with that because I have those memories in my memory, even though they're not in my phone.
And that is pretty amazing too. Like, because when, I don't know about you, but when I have my phone out and I'm like, okay, I need to take these pictures, you're like, oh, wait, no, that's not good enough. I need it this way. Or, oh, I should have done more, right? So we're always shooting all over ourselves. And we're always just like our perfectionist mentality, or like the things that sabotage us, like we get ahead of ourselves and we're trying to look for the future, and instead of engaging in the present tense. So even then, like if you would have had just a moment of, okay, I at least just want one family picture, but the rest of the time this phone is going down, like that would have been great too, right? But I love the fact that you were like, but I have these memories. And that was good enough for you.
Yeah. And it's not, in the past, it hasn't been, because I am so, like, I always have my phone, and it's my business too. Like, social media and live streaming. So I always have my phone, or I'm on the computer live streaming a lot, So, but I've just become more aware of, being in the present, and sometimes not having the phone attached to me is just a wonderful thing.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm seeing all these amazing comments now. Like, yay, we have comments. I want to go back up to Gabe's, because Gabe, you have a lot of questions, and I do want to address some of them. But right now, I want to address, as Tim, he's a natural deflector, and what's the hardest thing for you, Kara, as his bestie, to get to the heart-centered part of Mr. Sohn? Nothing's hard about it. I'm blessed that Tim gets to be my friend, and Tim wants me to be his friend. And that is good enough for me. Like it really is. And so whatever he, however, whatever form he wants to show up as every day, any day, within the hour is completely fine. My job as his friend is to support that. And, because you've done that as well, Tim. I've been going through a lot of growing pains lately around realizing that in the past, I would definitely, my mission would just to fix things or to be that person people can lean on. And that oftentimes leads into doing that for people who, I have no business doing that for. They're not in line with me. They're not supportive of me. I don't need to give them their any energy other than like, hey, you're like, I appreciate you, human, and that's it. You don't get any more than that. But that's been an extremely hard lesson for me to learn. And so learning that, and then setting up the boundaries in which you are respectful, but also just like, you know what, like you're giving me a lot of shit right now, so I need you to do that over there. Like, I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm telling you what to do in regards to what, like, when you're impeding in my life. And that's been very hard because I do go from everything's fine to like angry wombat in 2 seconds flat. Which, unfortunately, Tam, I mean, like that could probably be something where you're like, yeah, that's hard to deal with. Like, I can't deal with that. But you deal with that with me, Tam. And even today, I was like, thanks for dealing with me. And you're like, I don't like that sentence, And
I don't
so,
like those words. No.
yeah, I don't like that word. And so just going from, okay, well, thank you for being my friend.
Yeah. Yeah. And over time we both learned about each other and how to deal with each other. And, as we're both going through growing pains, in our own ways, we each have our own cancer connections, and perspectives. I have to get used to this. You shared your own uh, perspective and connections on cancer. And, that show in itself has brought up so much for both of us, and every week we bring on guests and create that safe space and have those conversations, and that's not an easy task at all, and it brings up, emotions every week for both of us. But, we do it for others and for ourselves as well, because, we connect with people who are in similar situations as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. And oftentimes when you're in the midst of growing pains, it really is important to not only look at the language you communicate with others, but also yourself. When in the
Yeah.
moments when you're like, hey, thanks for dealing with me, or hey, I say thanks for dealing with me. It's like, you know, in that moment, I felt that I was being a burden, because I have had a lot of things that I felt burdened with in terms of I'm dealing with the ramifications of not setting up proper boundaries around certain things. And
Yeah.
now I'm catching up and trying. My perfectionism's also showing in that I just want to handle it perfectly. And sometimes it's just going to be a pure shit show, and that's okay. But even
Yeah.
in that moment, I was giving you my bullshit, and I appreciate you saying I don't like that word. I don't like
Mhm.
that word. And then I was like, okay, yeah, the language again, going back to deepening the roots of your personal power by uprooting the inherited mindsets, designed to keep us hidden. Like, a lot of it is language, and it's how do you
Yeah.
talk to yourself and how do you talk to others. And oftentimes it does go into like, oh, sorry, I'm burdening you. No, it's usually you're feeling burdened with things, and how can you unburden yourself? A lot of times it's releasing that shame, releasing that perfectionism, that releasing of, not enoughness in yourself, and going from there.
Yeah. And you also brought up boundaries, and boundaries too is something that, that has come up, in our conversations, in our journey together, and something that, personal boundaries and, working together at, being besties and being co-host and main host, and figuring out the balance of, doing the work for the show and being friends, and setting those boundaries. And, it's something that I haven't thought of as much in the past. So you've definitely made me make me more aware of boundaries, in that kind of thing.
Yeah. And I mean, I appreciate you talking about that, bringing that up, because when we first started talking, we were just so excited. And then there would be days where literally the entire day we would go back and forth between personal messages and business type messages. It would get so overwhelming. And then I didn't know how to tell you right away, because then I'm like, well, I don't want him to think that he can't do it at all. But when I was
Right.
able to finally be like, no, like, I appreciate both of it. Can we reserve professional stuff via email, and then the personal stuff in the personal? Like, then I thought, oh, well, I'm just making him do something that he doesn't want to do. And then realizing that you actually preferred it that way, and you didn't realize it or didn't think of it that way until you're like, oh, maybe this is nice. And then you're like,
Yeah.
one day you're like, hey, what happened to the professional emails? I need that, please. And then I was like, whoa, Mr. Boundary Setter, I appreciate it. So I've noticed that you just are in that moment of like, hey, what's up? And then you realize, hey, oh, boundaries? Yeah, maybe they are a good thing. Like, do you want to share more about that? Like, is that kind of an accurate assessment?
I mean, I don't know how much more there is to share. I mean, once we started doing that, I mean, I did like having that separation, because text messages were just for, regular messages as friends, and we would just keep email and the spreadsheet we created for, for show stuff. And I did like that separation, because it just kept it separated, and that was, and I like it that way. So thanks for initiating that.
Well, no problem. And I do want to know, are there other areas of your life where you realize like, oh, maybe, maybe I do want to assert a boundary in there, or I never thought of it that way. And now that I'm able to communicate, like, I've set these parameters. Like, do you want to share about that in any way? Like, are there other examples?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So I love you.
I'm thinking.
No, that's fine. It's like, so Tim and I are we usually just set up questions and then we just let people read them before the show. And this show's been so willy-nilly. Like, this episode, I'm just like,
yes.
So, this is different for Mr. Tim.
It is different. Yes. But it's great. Wonderful.
Yes. Gabe is lighting up the comments. He says it's all about having good boundaries and clarity and communications.
Absolutely. That is true.
And, Elizabeth Ferrero is here as well.
Was missing your love. Bestie, how do you say love?
Love.
I love it. Let us know how you say love in the comments.
Love. So,
yes.
Also, is that an Elgato green screen?
No, it's a Glide Gear green screen, Mr. Gabe. Or Gabe. Yes.
Yeah. message Tem for details.
I don't know what I could tell you, but Restream wasn't liking the green screen, so that's why I'm radiating green back here today. So shout out to Restream.
Every time he would try to put up his little screen, his little background with
My image, yeah.
the forest and the turkeys and the bears, it just shut off his camera.
It did.
So Restream, get on that. It's not
Yeah.
appreciated.
Paging Restream. Paging Restream.
But yeah. So I mean, you don't have to go deep into it right now, but do you want to mention any particular growing pains you've been kind of going through lately? I mean, you have new shows, you have new opportunities, you have an evolving health journey. Our show is amazing, and you mentioned amazing and in sometimes equal parts traumatizing.
Yes, definitely. Amazing and traumatizing. I mean, there's so much. Like growing pain. Like in terms of like in December, I found out that I had no cancer anymore. And you would think, and I thought it would just be like, I would just be like celebrating. And like that moment happened and I didn't know how to celebrate, first of all, because we're in a pandemic and like how do you celebrate in a pandemic? And it's just made me like think about so many different things about like my business and like what kind of clients do I want to work with? That's not really a pain. It's just like made me think. And just like I'm thinking of pain. We're talking about pain and I'm trying to think of something painful.
I mean, just go with the flow. And growing pains is just more, it can be like resistance or feeling stuck.
Yeah,
or
stuck.
whatever.
Definitely stuck. Yes. And Christina says warrior.
Yeah, definitely.
Hi, Christina.
You are.
Yeah.
And even then, like feeling stuck, that's a growing pain that you're kind of overcoming. Like, what do I do with this now that this is an opportunity? Now that this is my reality, what is my new reality right now? That's a current growing pain.
Yeah. And I've been grappling with that. Like, what do I do? And like, one thing is I want to help cancer survivors and supporters more, even like beyond the show. Like, we're doing the Man and Woman of the Year campaign for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, which I'm so excited about. But like beyond that, like the other day I told Kara that I want to speak on a stage about my cancer story and like encourage other cancer survivors to share their story. I definitely want to do that like in 2022 or 2023. Yeah, things like that. It's just brought up like so many things, almost like a reevaluation of my life and business and like just not something that I thought would happen when becoming cancer free. I thought these kind of things would happen after I was diagnosed with cancer, like when I was in the midst of it. But instead, it's happening after I'm cancer free, which is something I never thought would happen in my head.
But I mean, if you think about it, though, you were what, 20? You said you were 27 when you were diagnosed with leukemia?
20 something.
15 years from your current age.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you, before then, you were a youngin' and living your life. And so, with your cancer journey, of course, you've evolved and you've moved on to be, to live in Shohola, Pennsylvania, and have a family and have the sweetest calm before the storm kind of badass sea captain of a wife, two amazing children, and you have your own business. And, so you've evolved, but I've noticed since then that you have wanted to communicate more and that you have been searching for that, I wonder if some ways it is just like, you, in some ways, emotionally, you were just on pause because of this, and now you don't have an excuse to keep yourself on pause.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely possible. And I mean, when I was way younger, I was really shy. And then it definitely became less shy as time went on. And now I'm just, I don't know how I describe myself, but evolving for sure. Yeah, I don't know.
Yes, sweetie pea, evolving. I love it. And I like this. Nivex. Hi, Mr.
Hey.
Nivex. Pain isn't always huge like a car crash. Sometimes it's 1,000 paper cuts. That's very, very true. It's the small things that add up, and then you're like, fuck, what's happening?
Just like that.
Just like that. I'm like accidentally penning everything.
Petting.
Penning.
Penning.
Penning. My accent. I'm still learning how to say my I's and my E's.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Do we need a translator?
yes.
You need a translator for the show, Bestie.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh. So one thing that does help in growing pains, I don't know if you've noticed this in your life, but I have noticed that that laughter really does help, not to just deflect, sometimes people use humor to just be a covert asshole. But if you just laugh about yourself and laugh at yourself, I've noticed just accidentally clicking buttons, don't mind me. You're dropping that shame. You're dropping that ability to shame yourself. And then you're just like, oh, look at me. I'm human. I got this.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, humor
Yes.
definitely helps. No matter how the humor happens, humor is definitely important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially
when going through growing pains.
Oh, yeah. And in the comments, what helps you guys kind of go through your growing pains? What helps you? What are you struggling with? What, what are kind of hurdles that prevent you from getting through your growing pains? I want to know it all, whatever your thoughts are. And also, Chris Hennessy, I do want to let you know that I think I have a caption for this. If you go to okay, if you go to @deepenedroots, I'm not only on Instagram and Twitter through Deepened Roots, but if you just type in Deepened Roots on Twitch, that's how you'll find me, Chris Hennessy. And thank you. Awkward pause. Didn't mean to interrupt the flow there.
I like how you said that out loud.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome for the compliment. Yes, you're welcome.
Oh my gosh. I love.
Yeah. What about you, Bestie? What about when you're going through your growing pains? How do you for me, like I'll go days without, like one thing that you've taught me also is about journaling. And I know you journal a lot. Like for me, I'll have to I'll wait until I like I'll wait until I'll just keep waiting and waiting until I'm like having a really, really crappy day. And then I'll journal. And then I'll wait until I'm having a really, really, really crappy day again. And then I'll journal. And hi, Mark Kageyama. Great to see you.
Hey, Mark
Uh,
Kageyama.
yes, hello, peoples. And for me, it's like finding a balance between journaling and deflecting, or journaling in the forest, or journaling by the waterfall. Like, how do you go about it?
For me, it's just holding on to those little habits every day that make me kind of feel human. And sometimes those do change. And growing up, I had this hard mindset that I had to have this, ironclad daily ritual list, and I had to achieve this something. And I used to not think that I was a perfectionist, and then I'm now starting to just laugh at myself because all these little instances of where I'm like, hey, no, it's not, it needs to look like this. Or, like I'm just melting down because my day is not like this. In the past, those were examples of my perfectionism, but knowing that, having some type of ritual or habit that helps ground me, I do journal a lot, but sometimes, in addition to journaling, like that's my self-care routine, and so is like just taking a walk. Uh, when I'm taking my walks with Henry, I'm oftentimes just in the present because one, I have to I need to keep an eye on that little rascal as he's just like, rah, rah, rah. But also it's just connecting, like I have this cute little baby that I'm walking around. The
Yeah.
weather's nice, and just kind of doing that. Those are my two little things that are non-negotiables. Even if my journaling is writing something on a cocktail napkin and I'm just like, and then I shove it in my pocket. But, those are non-negotiables. And then there's something called self-preservation where, sometimes when you're in those modes of crisis, like you were saying, where you're like, nope, I'm good. I'm not going to do anything. Oh my gosh, I'm in crisis mode. That's self-preservation. And so going from making the switch of the mindset around what self-care is, which is just centered on you as a person, which again deepens your personal power, but it just centers and grounds you and who you are, however that is. Like doing that is self-care. The other extra things that we may need to do, such as, sometimes I do need a day to like wrap myself in a blanket and just cry for however long I need to cry because it's just a release, right? If I were to do that every day, I wouldn't need to do that every day,
Right.
But when you notice that, like, oh my gosh, I literally cannot get my shit together today. That goes into self-preservation, and then you do what you need to do. You take that extra time. And if you don't take that extra time, your mind and your body tend to make you. And it does come in the form of dis-ease, physical dis-ease and disease. And so it's just kind of dropping the shame of, hey, I really do need to journal today. It doesn't make you lesser of a person that you're journaling extra, because when you do make that just like, dear journal, I'm feeling really good today. And then the next day you're like, dear journal, what the hell's going on with my life?
Yeah.
That's still you honoring you. and
Sure.
giving yourself that self-care.
Yeah.
So, and I love that, you know, um, I love that you, Tam, have been someone who's been like, nope, that's not my thing. You know what? Actually, I'm going to journal today.
Yeah. Like, I wish I could embrace it more often. Like, I don't know why I wait and wait and wait. Like, because I normally feel better after I do it. There are days sometimes when I don't, because like if it's a really, like something happened that's really, really crappy, and then I write about it, I journal about it, and then I'm just in the moment. And like, you know, you're just like feeling your feelings, right? And it doesn't feel good. It just feels worse because you're in the moment and, you know,
Yeah.
but sometimes it does feel good to just do that because you do feel your feelings and then you can just like embrace those feelings and move on or whatever you're going to do next.
Yeah.
But
And yeah.
yeah.
I mean, sometimes we can view journaling, things of self-care, like it's punishment. Oh,
Yeah.
I have negative feelings today. I'm going to punish myself by feeling those feelings. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and then we hold on to them and then we make it worse. So it's like we view self-care sometimes as a bad thing. When really, if we do it every single day, even if it's dear journal, my hair looks amazing today. And some
Yes.
guy told me he liked my butt. You know what? I like my butt too. I'm not even mad at
There
him
you
today.
go. There you go.
I mean, maybe that wouldn't be something that you would say, Tim, but you know,
Maybe not. You never know. I don't
you
know.
never know.
Yeah.
But I mean, definitely something to journal around, Mr. Tim.
Yes. Definitely around liking my butt. Definitely.
No, journaling around your journaling.
Oh, I'm really confused. Yeah.
No, that's fine. So there are a couple of responses to, so Lagia says her faith, the life lessons she's learned with her parents, and her passion to leave a positive legacy for new generations has helped me to keep striving. Yeah, that's really good. Setting those goals, those forward motions, those routines.
That's really cool. And that's something I think a lot about now, Ligia, in terms of my kids and thinking about legacy. Thanks for sharing that.
Most definitely. And Christina says music, prayer, and adventures in nature are what have been getting me through my growing pains.
I
Yeah.
love that. Music, prayer, and adventure in nature. Love nature.
Yes.
Nature is amazing. And
I'm
music and prayer.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Tam, have you ever just like taken your earbuds into the forest and just like finger dance like a maniac?
I have not finger danced in the forest. No, but I was in the mall the other day with my family and there was
Uh-huh.
music on in the mall and I just kind of started dancing and yeah, I kind of got different reactions from different members of my family.
What were those reactions, Mr. Tom?
They were varied depending on the member of the family. From crazy to let's do this. Yeah.
Was Caitlin, let's do this?
Yes.
Yeah. Caitlin says youngest and pretty much like his clone.
Definitely. She is crazy and so am I. So yeah.
Yes.
I just don't always let it all out at once. The craziness.
It's fine. I mean, dancing in public, that's pretty fun. Just
Yeah, I was just feeling the groove and I was like, let's do the Tim dance. And, you know, why not in the mall? I mean, what else are you going to do while you're looking around the mall? Why not dance?
yes. Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah. I mean, let us know if you dance in the mall. We want to know.
We do want to know. I like to know these things.
I mean, that could be a way to get through your growing pains, dance in the mall.
Honestly, just anything that removes the shame instead of deepens your shame around whatever the hell is going on in your noggin, the more you're able to just love yourself and be like, I'm gonna just do this. I mean, it's whatever. It can be journaling. It can be going into the woods and appreciating the woods. It can be dancing in the mall.
Yeah.
Let's groove tonight. Yeah. And then
It's the dancing segment of the show.
oh yeah.
I feel like we're in the forest with this branding around us, this amazing branding. I feel like we're in the forest.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you. And Nivex says, "Oh, I know what song you're referencing. Trout, trout, let it all out. These are the fish we could do without salmon." That's pretty amazing, Nivex.
Oh my gosh.
Jacoby needs to turn that into a song. Tomorrow night, you and I are going to approach Jacoby about that, or maybe I will, if with your permission, Nivex. That's pretty amazing. So I mean, this has been so much fun, Tam.
It has. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I honestly just wanted an excuse to have you on my show and not talk about showing up, because sometimes we can do things that are your favorite, such as running away to cry under our blankets.
Running away. Running away.
Or take a nap under your desk. Are you there?
I'm sorry.
There you go.
I'm back. Hi.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to talk about regarding growing pains, or has this been painful enough?
This has been great. Thanks for having me. I mean, another great way to, if you're having growing pains, sometimes you just need to let out a screaming goat sound. That could be another way to deflect. Sometimes you just need a screaming goat. So that's just another tip for you guys.
Honestly, though, Tom,
yeah.
I mean, just if you have anger or repressed emotions, sometimes if you are able to just go in I don't know, for me, I'm in a sound booth, which sounds super fancy. It kind of is. But I'm sure if I just started going like, ah, they wouldn't hear me.
Go for it.
Getting yourself in a safe, secure space and just like, sometimes I'll be working and then all of a sudden I'm just like, and then I feel better. And it's just that release of buildup of anxiety, and then just, and also exercise, again, movements. Screaming goats, though. Yeah, Gary, the screaming goat.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need a screaming goat sound. Just makes everything better.
Oh, yeah. So I do want to look at some comments real quick.
Sure.
Seen elsewhere online, not mine. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm just like randomly reading comments. So, to kind of close things out, is that all right, Mr. Tim? Or do you want to go another 3 hours like some other shows?
Yeah, let's just make it a 4-hour show. Why not?
I love it. I do want to go back up to oh, okay. So if you don't mind, just because Gabe did ask a lot of questions right away, like in the beginning. What's the What's the funniest thing Tim has ever done when you two have been talking? So there was this time we were on an interview with Jason Freeman, and he showed up shaving his face. And Tim is this shy person, like you are. It shows, but you're
I'm
just like,
shy.
but I want to be where the people are. And then, but for him to do that, it was like so out of the box. And then I was like, you're my hero. But that was one funny thing that happened that I just that was epic. And then you're like, hey, you
That was
can't
so
go
much
out in
fun.
public like this.
No, it came out horrible because I didn't have water. I just had shaving cream and my razor. I didn't have water, so it didn't work so well.
I
Yeah.
mean, was your face on fire afterwards?
No, it wasn't on fire. It just all the hair didn't come off. So I had to reshave with water afterwards and shaving cream again.
Oh, I thought you had like a little cup or something. You didn't? Oh.
No,
That would have
I
been
didn't.
crazy.
It was not good. No. But it was fun. And your guys' reactions were the best. We're like, what? What's going on?
Oh my gosh. So I do wanna ask, like, because Gabe's asking. So what's the best thing about working with Kara?
Oh my gosh. The best thing? There's so many things. The best thing? Oh, I don't know. Well, the best thing is my bestie. She's my bestie. I mean, we get along so well together. Like, I think to do a show together, you have to jive together, and I love working on shows together with people. And that's what I love most about Kara is that we jive together, we get along together. So that's what I love the best about it.
Thank you.
You're
You know,
welcome.
what I love in working with Tom is that, you know, he is this low key guy and he's also this badass professional and he knows his stuff. And you just surprise me. You're just like, hey, how's it going? And then you're like, I'm the boss. But like you don't do it in a way where you're like, I'm the boss. It's more like, so this is what's going on. And this light turns on. And then you're like, that is super cool. And I learned so much through you from that. You have this way of conveying yourself that I just like it definitely helps me grow and think as well in the process because, you know, I am naturally, I'm also like, I grew up shy as well.
Did you?
And I know that's really
Oh my
hard for
gosh.
people to believe.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't, I didn't talk for the first few years of my life. I was just like, that's just not an option. I'm just not going to talk. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And so then I went from that to just like crazy psycho bull running through the streets.
Running through the streets. Wow. With what are these? Are these horns or something?
Horns. I am a
Taurus. Is that what happened next? Running through the streets. You heard it here. Breaking news. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. No. So, and one other question that I want to kind of answer is that going back to the beginning of the show, Tom, Gabe asks, what do you think the biggest lesson you would want people to walk away from learning Black history? So it does, again, goes all back to language and how it can be used to either single out or erase or whatever, assert the verb there for people who, you know, like it's all about normalizing that you have all these cultures, and you have all these, like, you have everyone, and we're all different. And the unfortunate part of just the sad part of Black history is that, you know, there are so many beautiful aspects to Black history, and it is somehow because some people are afraid to learn and embrace it. Like, it's prevalent all over, but oftentimes it's erased because, oh, it's intimidating, or it goes against the norm, which really the norm is a patriarchal society full of just, you know, like, things that just don't make sense. But within the Black community, there's so many levels of culture, so many levels of achievements and inventions and innovations, and there's a whole other world that Caucasian history almost erases or goes over. And that's not me trying to say anything radical. It's just the more you dig into actual history, the more you realize that, you know, instead of embracing all history, it's, you know, oh, how can we just feel comfortable? And sometimes there are growing pains and learning that what harms people who are not Caucasian, like it hurts people who are Caucasian also. Like, the whole notion of patriarchy just hurts everyone. So how can we be kind? How can we remove our own shame? How can we use language that not only gives love for ourselves, but gives love to other people? How can we be compassionate human beings to everyone, and the way that they need compassion, not in the way that makes us feel comfortable giving compassion. Compassion should be unconditional and not without limits or stipulations. So that's kind of what I want to, you know, again, I'm always learning and wanting to evolve and wanting to make my language around anything, everything, in a way that lifts up and loves on everyone, including myself. And so that's why we talk about Black history, because Black history is, it's history. It's everything, right? It's a part of everything. So thank you for listening to my carrot talk. And I hope that makes sense. And if for any reason my language does, like, again, I'm learning. So if I need to approach my language in a different manner, feel free to DM me and tell me, hey, maybe you can word things this way. But we're all learning, right? So
Yes.
do you want to talk about anything else? What's going on? How are you doing, Tim?
I'm doing good. I'm just hanging out on my green screen over here. Michael Tomasello says, Tim, what's the point of the beautiful green screen if you are not going to transport yourself somewhere amazing? Well, I tried to transport myself to somewhere beautiful, the Delaware River with the trees, and I tried, but this wonderful platform was not cooperating with the place I was trying to transport myself to. So instead, you get this beautiful green screen. I mean, what else would you want to look at besides me and this beautiful green screen? I mean, and Kara.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's all I got.
And I guess if someone is using Restream, anyone, and they've run across that before, let us know, let me know. I guess sometimes there are bugs with when someone logs in and tries to do new things, and then the next time they try to do that new thing, it works. But if there's something special we need to be doing so that Tam and I can be on Restream together more often, then let me know, because I love your green, your UFO green. But eventually you'll want your bears and turkeys and your woods.
Yeah, I miss them. And they miss me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But, instead I have your company and the company of myself and myself over here. So yeah.
I mean, can we just give it up to Tom? We love Tom.
Love you too. Let's give it up for my bestie.
I mean, thanks for being on this show, haphazard and all. And
Haphazard is the best. Keeping it real.
Yes. If you want to be a guest, DM me and let's chat about it. Please.
Yes. You want to be a guest. You know you want to. Just admit it. Just come to terms with it. And DM her. DM my bestie.
Nice finger pointing.
Thank you.
Do you have a show or upcoming project? Send me your promo card and details so I can share on Deepened Roots podcast.
DRP. I like that.
Mm-hmm. And the new episodes will be on Apple and Google Podcasts. But for now, you can listen to my 48 episodes on Apple and Google Podcasts.
Definitely check them out. They're really good. You have to, because I said so. So
listen to Tim Sohn. He's a sweetie.
You will listen.
And follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Deepened Roots. Also on Twitch. You can find me that way also. And if you like my intro and outro song, it was created by Jatovi McDuffie. And we're on a show called Gamers Den with Jatovi McDuffie. You can find it on twitch.tv, Bull City GG, Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That sounds really cool when you say that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's
so kind of you. Kindness Incorporator, Elizabeth Ndungu.
Yes.
I haven't seen any more comments, but I'm just so happy she graced us with her comment presence earlier. Oh my goodness.
She did.
Do you want to talk about this little show we have?
A little show? Yes.
Quote unquote little show.
The little show. Showing up perspectives on cancer. Yes.
When is this show?
Every Tuesday, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, hosted by myself and my bestie, Carol Olker.
Yes.
Yes. And it's a safe space where cancer survivors and supporters come together to show up and share their personal journeys and support each other. And you can watch it on, go ahead.
Who's our guest tonight?
Tonight, it is Mr. James Patrone.
Yes, it is.
We are so excited to have him share his perspective and connection on cancer tonight. So show up tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, on my LinkedIn profile or a number of other places.
Yes, most definitely. And on my YouTube channel too. I just kind of added that one in. You can go to our YouTube channels, Sohn Social Media Solutions, or mine, which is Deepened Roots.
Yeah, go to Deepened Roots. Don't go to Sohn Social Media Solutions. Go to Deepened Roots.
Go wherever. Yeah. Thank you.
Roots. Go there.
Oh, yeah. Certain that personal power.
That's right.
Asserting that sass.
Let's not get carried away.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you again so much. And you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks for joining us. And I will see you all next week at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another episode of Deepened Roots Podcast.
Bye, Bestie. Bye, y'all.
Bye.